have gold medal except Mr. Kurt Angle and Aaron Sheik because you suck, Teddy Bears. You suck, Dusty Rose. You suck, Randy Savage. You suck, Bill Boss. You suck, Rambler. You suck. Hold on to my word. You suck, Dan Maloney. You suck. What was his name? You suck, Eric Sent. You suck, Andre Joel. You suck, Fabulous Moolah. You suck, Jeff Robbins. You suck, skinny bastard. You suck, Hulk Hogan. You suck, his puppet Jimmy Hart. You suck, son of a bitch. Break your rag with a beer bottle. Watch your ass. You don't like it. Break your rag. If you're the man. Watch your
TNA, 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 TNA. They're back, baby! I was trying to get my inner Scott D'Amore.
Yeah, about Scott D'Amore. Yeah, TNA just reminds me of the depressing person known as Vince Russo. So, you know.
Did he fuck them up too?
Vince Russo has fucked up anything he's ever touched. But, like, that is a topic for an entirely different episode of Legend of Wrestling. But we are here, folks. This is Legend of Wrestling, episode 2. I've been tamed down quite a bit. My inner Sheik has not awakened, so please excuse me. Yeah.
Dummy. Yeah, man. It's, we recorded the last episode and a whole bunch of shit went crazy since last time.
Including Scott D'Amore's blood pressure.
Scott D'Amore had a very impassioned promo about TNA coming back, and he says it's going to be we're going to hear the chants across the world, and it's never fucking going away again.
His promo was more passionate than the amount of energy he put into his wrestling career, so I'll give him credit for that.
What did Scott do to you, man? He's just a Canadian wrestler who's retired. He was trained by Al Snow. What does everybody want?
I don't care who he was trained by, honestly.
What does everybody need?
Not Scott D'Amore.
Yeah. All right. Well, TNA's back. That's the latest news. They revealed it at Bound for Glory with that promo. Like, it's like a 2.5, 3 minute package where like a bunch of their like the soon to be TNA Hall of Famers are in this vignette, and they're all meeting like in this. You haven't seen this, but it's like a vignette where all these like wrestlers who were famous and got popular during the TNA era of that company, and they all meet in like the jungle, and there's a Kazarian walks out of the lake with this treasure chest, and he comes up and he puts the treasure chest down, and they all like cut some like mini promos. Absent though from that was Christopher Daniels, so he's not in this. At least I missed it. Maybe he was and I missed it. I didn't see him, and I figured he would have a more prominent role.
Well, I believe that Christopher Daniels works for AEW, right?
Right, but AEW and TNA have been fucking with each other for a while.
Yes, and I'm sure that if there is a Hall of Fame ceremony that he will be present, but I'm not sure whether or not he was involved in the direct making of the promo.
Probably not. But anyway, either way, none of the Hardys were in it. It was the what's his name was in it? Eric, the dude who was he played like a little bit like a crazy person back in TNA.
Eric Young?
Eric Young was in it, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Does TNA's existence warrant them creating a Hall of Fame? Granted that there have been a lot of Hall of Famers that have passed through the promotion, but have they really done a significant amount of, or should I rephrase that, have they had a significant amount of, no pun intended, impact on the wrestling industry to the point where a Hall of Fame needs to revolve around that organization. I mean, I dare say, I think Ring of Honor probably should have, or is more deserving of a Hall of Fame than TNA, as they are now renowned as.
Yeah, they brought it back. To answer your question, TNA Hall of Fame. I agree with you that it felt a little forced. It's almost like, they were trying to run while they couldn't even walk yet.
That's like telling me that OVW has a Hall of Fame.
Okay, come on, that's a little harsh. you're bringing down TNA to OVW.
OVW and TNA are probably at this point equal. They're a training ground for a bunch of people that
Trinity
aspire
is
to be
TNA.
wrestlers.
Trinity, Jimmy's wife is in there.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
She's pretty fucking good. Anyway,
They remind me why she's there. Oh, that's right.
well, she had the whole drama with WWE. That's what happened with that.
Yes, and
Sasha too. And Sasha.
Remind me how many other organizations are out there and who signed her.
Okay, so you're saying she's not as talented as I'm perceiving her to be?
No, I'm saying that obviously that there were issues there that discouraged other people from signing her. Hence why her option was TNA.
But I never thought she would be that kind of wrestler, because she was always. I mean, she was the champ in WWE. She had a good run as champion.
Look at what the Usos slide with.
By the way, is Jay married? I don't even know. Jimmy is married to her, but
I believe they both have wives. Yes.
yeah, but Jay's wife is not in wrestling.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't want to be. Doesn't care for the wrestling life or appearing on camera, and that's okay too.
Yeah. TNA Hall of Fame, Sting is in there, which I mean, I think he was the first inductee, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. But
this is okay. I understand why Sting was inducted into the Hall of Fame, but Sting should be inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, period. I don't think that adding Sting to TNA's Hall of Fame adds to his prestige. At this point, him showing up to accept an award there after he's been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and he's probably in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I believe they have a separate
do they?
Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Which organization is that?
It's not an organization. It's just known across wrestling.
Okay, I didn't know.
Sure,
I'll look that up.
But regardless, I mean, he's probably even going to go into the AEW Hall of Fame at some point, just not because of his longevity, but because of his contributions to the rise of that organization.
Yeah.
I don't think that adding him to the TNA Hall of Fame is going to add any prestige. It's just kind of one of those things they have to do because it's obligatory. Sting was there for a long period of time.
He was.
Won the world title several times.
Joker Sting was invented there.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Listen, TNA at one point was responsible for some of the better contributions of wrestling. I'll give it that.
Aces and Eights? That was a good
Aces and Eights was a good angle, although it's, borrowed from other things. Listen, the Hardys, Matt Hardy and
Broken Matt Hardy started there. Yeah.
Started there. Yeah. So that I give it credit for that, as well as Brother Nero and the Willow persona.
Yeah.
I give them credit for being able to run with that. But then
Kurt Angle, his mean streak was in TNA.
Yeah, Kurt Angle had a resurgence there, but I feel like that's why TNA had a resurgence after a period of time. I feel like Kurt Angle going from WWE to TNA is what lifted it up during a certain period of time. But yeah, there are certain things in TNA that I prefer not to remember. And there are certain things in TNA. Yes. That's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hope, but your daughter should have never been on a wrestling show. I know why you did it. I excuse you, but it was still a mistake. It should have never been on. Anyway, I'm being really pessimistic at the moment. I don't know if I had a proper amount of food before starting this podcast. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm just being harsh on TNA, but Yeah. Anyway, that's the news.
Well,
TNA is back. According to Scott D'Amore, who forgot to have his own D'Amore pizza this morning.
for TNA fans anyway. This is a wrestling podcast. Wait, what?
I said for TNA fans, it's great news.
It's great news. Yeah, they're
Not
happy.
everyone's me.
Yeah,
I accept that.
I mean, TNA. I think their loyal fans are still with them, and they've stuck it out through the Impact days, through the days when it was owned by the fucking who was that? He's in a band. He bought
Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan. He bought him.
Oh, that was bad.
Dixie Carter gave up the company, right, and then he took over. Dixie Carter I thought was a good owner. She did well for the company.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say yes. I'm not gonna say no. I say jury's still out. Maybe I'll warm up to Dixie Carter after a while, but I don't know. Something about TNA and them being back. For me to really believe that organization is back, they need to...
the X division needs to really be...
Well, they just need to work on the whole organization the whole way around. The whole organization needs to be revamped, and they need to get better talent. I'm not saying that some of the talent developing there needs to go, but I am saying that, like, there needs to be some quality control. They need to start treating themselves like a A-class show instead of treating themselves like the D-class show of wrestling. Treat yourself like you're a WWE. Treat yourself like you're an AEW. And I get it. You don't have the funds. You're not as big. But at least conduct business like they would, and surround yourself with that kind of talent, and then maybe you've got a shot at saying TNA is back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Get yourself another AJ Styles. Find one out there.
There's a bunch. There's definitely.
Yeah, but I'm saying get yourself another franchise, because that's one thing that organization's been lacking a long time. They've been lacking a franchise player.
And I mean, AJ also, we didn't even mention, AJ was his career took off in TNA.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one thing that we could really credit them for, is to, or rather, giving us AJ Styles.
AJ Styles is one of the best of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, dummy.
Speaking of LA Knight, let's shift over to WWE now. We Raw and SmackDown, they're clearly setting up Survivor Series, even though Crown Jewels is coming up next. What do you think is going on with that? We're seeing the screw jobs from Jimmy and Jay on each other. We saw Jimmy do it to Jay when they lost the tag team championships with Cody to Judgment Day on Raw, and then Jay returned the favor on SmackDown when Cena was about to retire, and then he said he's not. And then him and Solo got into it, and then Jimmy came to help, and you all saw it. And then Jay pulled him out, and he was the. I think they're gonna do. That's going to be a big blow up at Mania. They've been wanting to fight each other at Mania. That's one of on their bucket list. So I definitely think that's going to happen. But what's happening at Crown Jewel? So let's talk about that.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so Crown Jewel is coming up before Survivor Series, right?
Yes.
What are some of the matches that we're looking at lined up for? I mean, I believe that, what was it, that Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul, is it?
Yeah, Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul.
Set for Crown Jewel.
So here's what's confirmed so far.
Well, while you look that up, I'll just touch up on Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul.
Okay, yeah, do it.
I don't know how I feel about that match. I do know it's good for business. It will draw numbers. Rey Mysterio is one of the most sympathetic figures in pro wrestling. Like, literally, anytime anybody turns against Rey Mysterio, like, they're immediately going to get a heel rub.
Is it because he's small, or is it because...
Well, it's a combination of things. His character is just good. He plays a really good
and he has a baby face.
Yeah, I mean, he really does have a baby face under that mask, but we don't talk about that.
We don't know.
Remember, what happened at WCW didn't happen. It's wiped under the rug. It received
what a horrible storyline that was.
It received a brainwashing Men in Black erase job. Courtesy of the WWE. So it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, but you're right. But Rey Mysterio, just in general, makes a very good face. He always has. He's always like an underdog. And usually people that are put up against him, even if they have natural talent and they draw natural heat, or if they are somebody who's in need of it, usually if you put them against Rey Mysterio, it's a good move. The problem that I see with this is if Logan Paul were to win this match, I don't know how good that would be for the WWE. We already have one absentee champion named Roman Reigns who decides to show up whenever he wants.
Sounds like someone else who used to do that.
Yeah. Well, no, the Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar didn't do it for nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is like getting to overkill. But that being said,
so you want him to drop the belt?
Yes, I do want Roman. I think it's Roman. If it was up to me, I would have had him drop it in a personal level, not a business level. On a personal level, I would have had him drop the belt at SummerSlam. But
who did he fight at Slam?
SummerSlam.
Because it
was
matters.
Jay, was it not?
Did he fight Jay? Okay, let me look that up now.
Yeah, I believe it was Jay, because that's when the whole screw job happened with Jimmy, and then So, in any case, getting back to how this relates to Logan Paul.
Yeah,
Logan Paul. He don't get me wrong, the guy has vastly improved in the ring, which each and every match that he has.
Yeah.
He is pretty good. I think Bad Bunny is better, but he is pretty good in the ring. Yeah. He does draw natural heat. For a guy who doesn't have a lot of in-ring experience, or outside of that, the training in the WWE way, so to speak, he actually does do pretty decent promo work. The title would be a good rub for him, but the problem is he would rarely be present to defend it. He's always off doing different ventures such as boxing.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you got to give it to him. He's a great athlete.
Oh yeah, no, I have no complaints. This is not throwing any dirt on Logan Paul's name whatsoever. Yeah. What it is though is, we're talking about what's good for business. And with one title that's hardly ever defended, do you want two titles that's hardly ever defended on the same show?
I see.
And that's the problematic situation with giving Logan Paul the title.
Unless they have a different contract setting him up. They're setting him up for a champion contract, which means he's got to be there for every taping or every live SmackDown.
That would be the plus. If he did decide to become a full-time wrestler for a period of time, or at least while he's holding the title, then I could see it being something that works.
You know why I think that it should go that route is because kayfabe is like 80% dead nowadays, and we don't want. I get annoyed when I know what the result is going to be for a fact, based on things that you're saying. Like, Logan is a part-time wrestler. Why would we give him the U.S. title? So therefore, then he's got to not win this match, right? So my whole thing is, let him take the fucking match. You know what I mean? And then that at least will create some buzz around the title and the angle. So because when they give you exactly what you predicted, after a while it kills the brand. It kills the intrigue, I think.
That's true, but again, your champion has to be there in order to, defend the title. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of having a champion? You're not bringing any prestige to a championship that's not defended.
I agree with that to a degree.
And that title right now really needs to be defended.
100%. U.S. title. I think the U.S. title was that it's like it got really it rose to its heights when Cena had it, and he did the U.S. title challenge every week, and that created a lot of attention for that title. So yes, I agree with you that the U.S. champion, whoever it is, needs to be there. And if Ray can do it in his, he's in his late 40s or almost 50, I think, then Logan can definitely do it.
Now, there is a way, and this is something that I guess we were going to talk about later in the show, but it's a perfect segue, so I'll bring it up now. Through episodes of SmackDown, there have been hints that Santos Escobar may turn heel.
Ah, yeah.
Now, I don't know if they would have planned to do this at Crown Jewel, but one way that you can make this interesting, while perhaps, following the route that you want to do without without completely squashing Ray.
I see where you're going.
Is you have Escobar turn heel at Crown Jewel.
Screw him for the title.
And thereby, you give Logan Paul the heat, and you give Logan Paul the win that people are not expecting.
Yeah.
He, in turn, benefits from the win. Santos Escobar benefits from the heel turn. And Rey Mysterio loses nothing.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's a great take. You've been following that specific angle really closely with the Santos Escobar. Because I admittedly missed that. I missed the hints at him trying to go on his own and out of the LWO.
Well, one of the biggest ones, remember, was when Santos Escobar, a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, was having doubts about congratulating Rey Mysterio when they faced each other and Rey Mysterio won.
Right.
He had that conflicted look on his face. That was the biggest hit at the turn yet. And then it was interrupted by interference.
Yeah.
They got attacked. But yeah, that's been something that's slowly been building. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it's going to happen, that would be one good way to happen. But then again, that's just one way that things could happen. That's one match that's set up for Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel. What else is coming up?
So Crown Jewel, yep. We got Ray and Logan Paul. We got the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Raquel Rodriguez, and Zoe Stark. 5-way match. Fatal 5-way.
Well, I'll tell you who's not winning that match is Zoe Stark.
Okay, sure. That's that. But see, that's what I mean. So, you know what that tells me? When they put an obviously more green wrestler in a reputable match like that, to me that just screams like it's just trying to give her pay-per-view money, They're just trying to give her PLE money. Because it's but it's a throwaway. It's a throwaway. How they can save this, though, is if they really make her shine in this match. Even if she doesn't win, they need to give her a real, some highlight, career highlight moments in this match.
Well, the problem, I agree with you. The problem that they're having with Zoe Stark so far,
because she's not a bad wrestler. She's got potential.
The problem that they have with Zoe Stark right now is that she is presented as a somewhat powerhouse. But she's an undersized powerhouse.
She's not tall, yeah.
And, well, that's not necessarily an issue either. We've seen smaller wrestlers perform very well.
No, I'm not
saying even win matches. But the problem with Zoe Stark in her situation is they already had her attack Nia Jax at one point. No, I believe they actually had a match when she came back.
Yeah.
And Nia squashed her.
Right.
You can't put a person in a high-profile match on a premium event that's been squashed by one of the competitors.
Yes.
It's and then you put them against 4 people of the same power set. I mean, look at the people in that match. You have Rhea Ripley, who runs through opponents.
Mm-hmm.
You have Nia Jax, who really hurts opponents.
Yeah.
And you all
Hard
watch
Yeah.
wrestling know exactly what I'm talking about.
You got Raquel.
You got Raquel, who's also another powerhouse.
Shayna Baszler,
And
badass.
Shayna Baszler is a shooter. She's a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life, she probably put all 4 of those women to sleep and break their bones.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Easily.
So when you look at Zoe Stark had to the buildup of this event, unfortunately, hasn't been built as a credible threat. The only way that I could literally see them pulling that off if she did win, it would have to be one of those cheap wins where like somebody else did all the work and Zoe ran in and took the pin. But how many times have we seen that in wrestling?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So the best thing that could happen to Zoe Stark in this match is they give her a strong performance, but they still have her lose.
Let her
But
shine.
at least let her shine. Let her have.
Don't let her get pinned.
Yes,
Let someone else get pinned because they can carry that.
they can take the hit to their character.
Yeah. I would honestly not mind if Jax takes the pin because she's reckless, man. But I know they won't do that because they're pushing her as a powerhouse right now. So it'll probably end up being either Raquel or Shayna that takes the pin, which means Rhea keeps the title.
I don't see Rhea dropping it yet.
Yeah.
She's red hot right now.
She's red hot.
I don't know.
She's only face out of that heel group.
Anti-hero more like it, but yes, I understand.
She's getting cheered. Yeah.
They enjoy her work.
The mommy angle is going over really well, which is hilarious to me because the other half of that coin is the biggest heel in the company, which is Dominic.
Well, regardless of how you look at it, face, anti-hero, villain, or heel, she's still the main face. And I don't mean that in kayfabe terms. I mean that literally. Yeah. She's the face of the Judgment Day right now.
Yeah, she is.
So I find it really hard to see her dropping this match at Crown Jewel. If anything, this would probably just build on further on her character and the work she's done with that title. Plus, if you've noticed, outside of the ring, she does a really good job of being an ambassador for the company.
Yeah.
She does a really good job of appearing on other people's shows and interviews, and she's done a great deal of work to actually elevate the brand.
Yep.
So, yeah, I see it. I don't see her taking it off. I don't see the WWE taking the title off of her quite yet.
Right. I don't see it either. Also, five-way match. Think about that number because Survivor Series is next. So these guys are all Raw talents, these ladies. Right. So is that going to become a thing where then 5 SmackDown ladies are going to challenge them? We shall see what happens with that. But sticking to Crown...
The crazy thing, one more note, the crazy thing would be if all 5 of them had a match and we didn't get a clear winner because 5 ladies from SmackDown came and jumped them.
Oh, interrupted? Back like ECW Invasion?
Yeah.
I remember that shit. That was fun.
I don't know if that would happen. That's a long shot.
I love that,
That
man.
would be interesting.
And on a tangent, I loved when the ECW Invasion happened and they all fucking came down with fucking Sabu was in that shit. Like, it's the greatest like ECW guys.
They fumbled that though because there was a lot of the potential.
It was ECW light. It wasn't even like the original.
But they had enough heavy hitters to make it credible.
There was no Shane Douglas, and he should have been in there for sure.
RVD was there.
RVD was there. No, I get it, but
because the
Mikey Whipwreck wasn't in there. Shane Douglas wasn't in. These guys were like original.
Are we talking about the original Invasion, or are we talking about the Invasion storyline after the
acquisition?
Yeah, well, they still had heavy hitters. Yeah,
they did.
They had Booker T.
Booker T was WCW.
Yeah, but he was a part of the Invasion storyline.
Yeah.
The Booker T, the Invasion storyline, ECW and WCW had.
WCW had less hitters from their company.
Yeah.
It was T. It was Buff Bagwell for like 5 minutes, and then it was Scott Steiner. I don't really remember many others. Sting obviously didn't come, but they could have used them. They brought DDP in later, but it was like you know, it wasn't in that initial angle. It was a very.
Well, they fired Buff Bagwell after one match.
I know. I remember that.
But you know, the reason I asked you because of distinguishment, because if you remember way back in the day, in the early days of Raw, ECW had a talent exchange with the WWE, and RVD came in there when he was Mr. Monday Night. And remember, they brought in, I believe Sabu was in there, and
Sandman,
and I forget if Sandman came in at that time or whatever, but they were having some cross promotional matches with the WWE. It was like a mini invasion, but it didn't last long.
No, it didn't.
So, yeah, but the invasion storyline itself, yeah.
I remember what you're talking about. In like 96 or some shit. It was like when ECW actually was its own thing and they did like a little angle with it. Because I remember Jerry the King Lawler, he like hated ECW back then. And Paul Heyman.
And his son was still wrestling. Grandmaster Sexay.
Yeah, gosh. R.I.P.
What else?
So back to Crown Jewel. So, we didn't even make predictions. So you got Rey Mysterio keeping it against Logan Paul?
I'm going to go with Logan Paul.
Okay. Now, of course, the show
go with Logan Paul. I don't like the I said I'm not crazy about the idea if he's going to be part-time, but I'm going to go with Logan Paul.
All right. That's cool. Now, this is not the full card because we're still over a week away from the show, which is November 4th in Saudi Arabia. That's going to be interesting too, with the whole political angles of all that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. They've already gotten stuck in Saudi Arabia once, and now there's a whole ass war. Let's see. So, Rey Mysterio. Okay, so you take Logan. I think I'll take Logan on that. But we can make predictions on the next episode because I think it'll be right before the pay-per-view. So Rhea, I think we agreed that she'll take it. World Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. I'm not crazy about this match. What are your thoughts?
I'm not crazy about the match as a whole because I don't really see any excitement. I think
there's no buzz to it.
I think the only purpose of this match is to give Drew a vehicle to turn heel.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I see them setting up this match.
I want Seth to turn heel, man.
I don't think that Drew is going to win. I don't. I think that he'll lose, and that's when he'll turn heel.
Yeah. I think, okay.
But there's no excitement, no buzz to it.
There's no excitement.
I'm not even... If this match wasn't on the card, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a good match for Saudi Arabia because the fans over there are going to eat it up with the chants for the
I'm not going to take anything away from either competitor either. I think that they're
great wrestlers. No, I'm not taking that away either.
But there's the build up to this match is really poor, and honestly, I don't really see a purpose for this existing other than to give, again, McIntyre an excuse to turn heel. So.
I still haven't gone over the fact that the Shinsuke angle with Seth was cut short. But anyway.
No, Shinsuke, see, that's the thing. Shinsuke should have had this match at Crown Jewel. That should be him in that event.
Yeah, and he's not even on the card.
And they should have ended it, like, no matter who would have won that should have ended the trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big match, Saudi Arabia, high stakes.
Title.
And already some history building up to it. It would have been great.
Yeah, because now if they go back to it, it's missed. Like the Saudi Arabia is like the WrestleMania. It's like WrestleMania 2 basically for WWE because they're getting the same audience, but like as far as the number, the attendance.
I don't know if they get the same audience.
I mean, saying like they're selling out a stadium.
It is a big stadium, yes, but I don't know if people are quite as interested in the Saudi Arabia show abroad as they are in WrestleMania. I still think SummerSlam.
Oh, facts, 100%. No. I from worldwide, yes, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, but Saudi Arabia gets them once a year, so they save up all their money to go to that.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
I understand. As an artist myself, it's like if I go to a different city that is not used to having performers come on a regular basis, even if they don't know who I am, they show the utmost love and they really get into the show and enjoy it. It's like that with anything. I feel like because Saudi Arabia, especially a place like Saudi Arabia, gets this event like once a year, that when they do come to town, the WWE being the ones coming to town, they definitely get a lot of love from the people that attend the show. Yeah,
That's very true. Yeah. So we shall see what happens with that.
No other setups for any other matches so far.
Well, I mean, we talked about. We can go back to that, but the last thing is L.A. Knight Roman Reigns. It hasn't been made official yet, or has it? Did SmackDown make it official?
SmackDown didn't quite make it official yet, but I believe that there's going to be a contract signing next week, and
Oh man,
that might as well be the official.
make it more interesting, WWE. You give us the same 6 stories over and over. Like other companies do the contract signing, but it's like, see that I like how TNA did when they would have those briefcases and they would say option A, option B, or option
The Feast or Fire.
Yeah, that was unique. We got to give them that. They tried to be different, and maybe it didn't work for everyone, but I thought at least they took that risk. They didn't just go with like a proven thing, and they were like, because WCW did that, and then they fucking ate it at the end. But AEW doesn't do that. They do their own thing, which is great, and so does
Well, AEW, the way they treat their signings isn't necessarily like this weird spectacle in the ring. They actually treat their signings as if it's a
real fight.
Like if you were to watch somebody do a contract signing at the UFC.
Yeah.
And I get it. That's their brand. That's their aesthetic. At least they own up to doing something different. I don't necessarily hate WWE having contract signings, but they need to be a little bit more creative in the way that they present them. It's like next week, contract signing between wrestler A and wrestler B. They bring this cheap table, and then one person gets really mad and scribbles their signature on it, and the other person laughs, and then they sign it, and then they backstab them, and they flip over the table. It's just an excuse for a spot. It's like, who cares?
Listen, I just right now in the last 10 seconds as you were describing that, I came up with 2 unique ways they can give life to the contract signing in WWE. A, do it in an empty arena. Don't do it in front of the audience. Do it before the people get there. They've had empty arena matches, which I think are great. I love those because it's different. Do that. Do the contract signing in the middle of the ring with no buzz around it. Just to the point. And if they want, if they get in a fight, at least the aesthetics are different. So that to me would be one way. Another way, that table you guys bring to the middle of the ring for it to be broken at the end, just do that shit in the backstage area. How they did when it was JR, when he was in the WWE, and he had the Stone Cold Rock 3 for WrestleMania 17. That was Austin Rock 2 when Austin turned heel. But I'm saying like they had the whole thing in the backstage, and JR was interviewing them both, and they were just sitting there on each side of him, and that hasn't been used in WWE.
What I really would like is if they did it the way that they do boxing weigh-ins.
Yeah, I'm down with that for sure. I mean, now that's
different. It's not a ring. It's not fake looking. It's not there's a table there for setup. Yeah. But like, have them look like there's a boxing ring. Even if you're gonna have them kayfabe fight, it's like have them do the face off, do the whole thing, and all of a sudden maybe there is a fight, maybe there isn't a fight. You leave that unpredictable. Maybe someone spits in the face, whatever. But like the build up, the anticipation, the face off.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look intimidating or real when you have a little fake table in the ring that you know that they're using for a spot.
Yeah.
And
I think they do that kind of already with the press conferences. And you know why they do the press conferences? Because AEW started doing the press conferences, and WWE realized that is the next rendition and evolution of what
it has to be.
Yeah,
because
and now they're owned by Endeavor, so it's like they have more of a reason to do it. But
right, but it has to be done that way because the evolution of, the revolution of the sport, is moving towards realism.
Yeah.
It has been. That's been the trend. It's been getting more and more realistic versus cheesy, campy, so forth.
Yeah.
People want to see real face-offs. People really want to see something convincing
Yeah.
that resembles real life. And I get it. It's kayfabe. I get it. It's choreographed, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, these are still sports performers. And at the end of the day, like, if there's still an element of realism that you expect when you're watching people that are involved in a sport. Like, people in basketball don't hit each other, right? But they still have press conferences.
Yeah.
Like, you want it to be believable.
Yeah, that's very true. Except when it became when the angle. Remember Brian Pillman and Austin with the gun in '95 or '96. When you remember
That's
that?
a different level of realism.
I know.
I enjoyed the angle.
I thought it was a great angle, but then they had to backtrack because USA was being weak about it.
Well,
and
it wouldn't have lasted anyway because unfortunately Brian Pillman died shortly after.
Which the most inhumane thing I think Vince has done is that was the night after he brings up his widow. He brings up his wife, the mother of Brian Pillman Jr. And it's
it has to be up there with going on with the show after Owen Hart's death.
That's the other one. Yeah,
it has to be right there up there with that.
100%. Yeah. I think Vince literally will die on the gimmicky hill that he's on. Like the gimmicks for him, he puts too much value on it, where he takes it too serious. Like he takes his own product. I'm not saying he shouldn't take his company seriously. Well, it was his company, but he shouldn't have taken it so seriously to the point where he's now taking out the moral compass.
Well, we don't got to worry about that anymore. He's not here anymore.
Yeah, he's done.
Adolf McMahon has gone off elsewhere to trim his mustache.
Gosh, please do, yeah.
But
so those are the matches for Crown Jewels.
I think we've kind of gone over mostly WWE, right?
Yeah, are we? So last thing is Bianca Belair came back.
Yes, that's
Bianca Belair, and we talked about her last week as a dream match with Jade Cargill. That would be good, but they haven't gone face to face yet. So it was Bianca. She helped Charlotte in her comeback on SmackDown. Meanwhile, by the way, her boyfriend's a heel. They turned heel. They turned the Prophet's heel.
Yeah,
they've
been doing that for a while.
What do you think with that? What do you think of that? Do you think it's working? I feel like people still want to cheer them.
I don't feel that they did anything that really makes them feel like credible heels. If anything, they just look like people are kissing up to Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, and that doesn't work.
And even the reason why they're kissing up to Bobby Lashley doesn't feel believable. So that's why people don't seem to be taking to him. I think they really like them as a Prophet. But even as a heel, it could have worked if it was done right.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's being done
right. They still have a chance to fix it. I think they just need to get away from the jive in their game. They got to switch up. They can't be like how Chris Jericho turned heel back in the day, where he would switch up his personality all the way.
Well, how many times did Jericho turn heel?
I know.
No, but that's it. I know you know. That's a credit to what he did, because each and every time he found a new innovative way to not only turn heel, but be a different type of heel.
Yeah, and there's so many versions of Jericho, right? Like, and so what I'm saying is
that champion.
yeah. The what was it called? The Buble, Fizzy Buble, more for his when he won the AEW championship.
And then when he was tag team with Sammy Guevara in AEW, he was Les Sex Gods.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, yes, Bianca Belair is back. Let's see what they do with that. Charlotte and her are seemingly on the same page right now. Maybe that goes into the Survivor Series. Maybe they're going to be.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what they do with Survivor Series on that note, because
we got to see what happens.
We got to see what happens at Crown Jewel before we can jump into Survivor Series. But I'll say this: I really hope, this is a real wish of mine, that they bring back the Survivor Series traditional matchups. I feel like this year more than ever, Survivor Series could benefit from them bringing it back, especially with all the factions and all the groups of people that are now intertwined with storylines and the dysfunction and fun it would cause.
I think so. I think that'll be good. Admittedly, my least favorite of the household pay-per-views that have been around for over 25 years each is Survivor Series. Out of the big four, I honestly would say Mania's got to be number one, but a close second would even be a tie would be Royal Rumble. I think Royal Rumble would be right up there because of the intrigue of the actual 30 person match on the women and the men's side. And then when there's a surprise returns, those are always intriguing to me, even as an adult. But anyway, Survivor Series, it's like...
Well, they haven't done a great job with Survivor Series in the past. It has a lot of potential. And there have been some classic Survivor Series.
Don't get me wrong, Undertaker debut was amazing.
But if you want my order of that, it's similar. I mean, it's similar. The only thing I will say is it's not as close for me with Rumble and
Mania.
Rumble and SummerSlam. Because to me, I've always enjoyed SummerSlam more than the Rumble.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why. There's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions. But
of course.
I enjoyed SummerSlam because SummerSlam has always consistently been good.
Yeah.
The Rumble, I'm not saying hasn't been quite consistently good, but the only thing that takes away from the Rumble sometimes is something you brought up earlier this week when speaking to me, and that is some of the spots at the Rumble are too predictable, and they're running gags, and it takes away from the event.
It wasn't always like that.
It wasn't, but over the years, because of that, it has kind of brought the Rumble down.
Yeah.
But Survivor Series has always been a consistent heavy hitter.
Yeah, I agree. There's a new wave of household PLEs now too with the WWE. You got Elimination Chamber.
Which I usually enjoy the Elimination Chamber, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They usually have good spots.
Yeah. It's a tough match. They used to have actual, they didn't even have the padding on that. What do they call it? 2,000 feet of steel or some shit like that, they would call it. Yeah.
But no, I mean, even with the Elimination Chamber matches, what I like is usually it's a combination of people. I know some of them have been more predictable than others, but there have been some swerves at Elimination Chamber, which has also been good.
Yeah.
But usually I like the fact that the combination of people are in the Elimination Chamber are usually a combination of people that we often don't see get into matchups with each other. It's like, remember Kofi Mania?
Oh my God.
Or remember the one where
again, you know who's not winning the match? It's Kofi. Kofi will never win a Royal Rumble match because of, it's been they booked him into a corner.
But that year, remember, it was no one was expecting Kofi to do any damage in that match, and he was phenomenal.
That's true.
See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes there's a swerve. Then there was the time where Edge wasn't even supposed to be in the match. And then he ended up entering the match, and he ended up winning the match.
Yeah.
There have been some really good swerves at Elimination Chamber.
Or Mysterio entering at one.
Some of the spots have been really good.
Mysterio coming in at number one and winning. That was one. Austin is the only one that's won it 3 times, I think.
Elimination Chamber?
Sorry, I'm talking about Rumble.
See, you were talking about Rumble.
Yeah.
Mysterio won it. You're saying Mysterio won it.
Yeah.
No, the first one to do was Shawn Michaels.
Yes, that's right. Shawn did it.
And then the
Ric
Royal
Flair
Rumble,
did it too.
Remember the year where I believe it was the Bulldog and Owen and Bret Hart. Yeah. Remember the double touch?
Yes, I do remember that. They've used that before with a couple other.
But that was the first time.
That was the first time.
It was done well,
masterfully
at that time.
Yeah. Well, it was because it was 2 masterful wrestlers that did it. Anyway, so all the pay-per-views, Survivor Series. Last thing about Survivor Series, Randy Orton is rumored to be coming back at Survivor Series. They got his new merchandise already set up, so everything is lining up for him to return at Survivor
All
Series.
he needs to do is listen to the voices in his head.
Yeah. So again, which version of Randy? Is he coming back as a good guy, bad guy? His tag team partner is fired, so he doesn't even have Riddler anymore. So what's going
Riddler.
Riddler, I call him Riddler. Riddle.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, Riddler.
The Riddler.
The Riddler. Yeah, he he put a Riddler. He acted like a Riddler in his own career with the whole fucking debacle at the end. But
well, nothing tops Ric Flair's helicopter. So.
Oh my god. So.
Woo!
Man, that's fucking.
Take a ride at Space Mountain.
But yeah, so that's as far as all the latest with WWE. Last but certainly not least, AEW.
Not much to talk about in AEW this week.
Not much, but you had Big Cass or whatever his name is, Big Bill now in AEW.
Yeah, new tag team.
They won the championships. But that led to the return of the one and only Jon Moxley. So he came back to help the
Wheeler Yuta and
yeah. What's their group name though?
It's BCC.
BCC.
Blackpool Combat.
Blackpool. BPC. Blackpool Combat.
BCC. Blackpool.
Oh, Blackpool's one word. Yeah, BCC.
Club.
Okay, got
I
it.
probably fumbled on that too.
No. So Blackpool Combat Club is back together without their leader Regal because he's back in WWE. But
is he? Did he go back to WWE?
He's in NXT again, isn't he?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Because he left. He got let go by AEW. And I think Trips wanted him back in NXT. But anyway, I could be wrong about that.
I mean, you may.
No, I'm not saying.
I didn't know if he gone back to WWE.
I know. I just want to know where he's at right now because I like that angle with him leading that group, but I don't know why he left. What happened with AEW that he left? Yeah. So anyway, right now he's nowhere. Apparently, he's Oh, there you go. Yeah, he did.
Right.
Regal returned to WWE in January 2023, taking on a behind-the-scenes role of Vice President of Global Talent Development. Okay. So, yeah, he's back with WWE. Yeah, see, I liked him. I like that on-TV angle with him leading the Bryan Danielson and Moxley and Yuta. And also, what's his name now is also Castagnoli.
Claudio Castagnoli.
That's a fire-ass group. Like, I would not pick against that four. Those guys are tough.
Now imagine if those guys had a Survivor Series match.
Well, Vince doesn't own it anymore, so it could happen.
I know that. No, I mean,
and three of them are former WWE guys.
No, I mean, I know that they own the Survivor Series pay-per-view, but imagine if they had that style of match against another group.
That's a big part of it. Is the WWE's current rating system doesn't let Survivor Series shine the way it could shine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They can't have blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't. They're not allowed to get headshots, which is good.
Even the War Games match that they put on in NXT is still tame compared to past War Games matches.
And compare it to the AEW version of it. The AEW version is way better.
What is the AEW version called again? I forget.
Yeah, I know.
I always forget this. This is not something that just because I didn't do my homework, I always know it. I mean, I literally watched the I would literally watch the last one with Blackpool Combat Club.
I know.
And then, with my favorite guys, the Young
Blood
Bucks.
and Guts. Blood and Guts.
AEW
Blood and Guts is their version of War Games. Obviously, it was original. The War Games is the original name from WCW. But my point is that when they had the Pillars, or the Pinnacle, match versus Jericho's group, I thought that was an amazing match because then didn't they take a deep dive off the top of the stage? I think
Blood and Guts has been so far pretty. It's a pretty aptly named event that lives up to its name.
And here's
you watch it, you see some blood and you see some guts.
So So speaking of AEW pay-per-views, I'm wondering what their next pay-per-view is and when it is.
Well, did they have Full Gear yet?
AEW.
Because I think if not, it's Full Gear because that's where MJF is slated to face Jay White.
Oh, right,
And
right.
that's really turning out to be a really, really good angle right now in AEW because now, because of the injury, Adam Cole has not been in MJF's corner.
Yeah.
He's been all alone, and he has the.
Full Gear is on November 18th, so we got some time.
And now he has the Bullet Club Gold after him.
Yeah.
Which obviously consists of the Gunn brothers.
Yeah.
And then Jay White and
the Gun Club. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Gun Club.
Yeah.
I just lost my train of thought on who the fourth member was
of the club. Oh, it's Jay White. It's
the guys from New Japan. I can't for some reason I'm missing the name.
We'll find. Thank God we have a laptop right here.
I hate resorting to that though. This is
I know, man. I feel you.
Wrestling.
I feel you, bro.
Up on this stuff. It's Juice Robinson. There we go.
Good.
Juice Robinson. I didn't need to look. I just needed a moment. Juice Robinson, Jay White, and then the Gunn brothers.
The Gunn brothers. Yeah, the Gunn Club. And another major news is Sting announced that he's going to have his last match in 2024, and then he'll retire.
Yeah, and unlike John Cena, who uses it for a cheap pop on a promo, I really think that Sting's time is coming to a close.
And so, as sad as that is, I think it's
time. I mean, look at how old the guy is. How much more do you want him to give?
But he still
at the level that he gives it. But do you really want to see him decline?
No, I don't want to.
He still gives us 100%, and he still does well. But it's better to go out on top.
Yeah, on Dynamite, he mentioned it. He said he's announcing that he will retire from the ring in March of 2024. So
that's probably when his contract's up.
Either that, but it also says from retiring from in-ring.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, like, you retiring as a wrestler. I mean,
I'm saying, is he leaving AEW? I don't know if that's
I don't
the
think
case.
he's going to leave AEW.
Yeah.
I really think that, like, he's actually made himself a home there.
Yeah.
He's built a lot of relationships with a lot of backstage talent there.
Yeah.
And that he'll probably want to pass on his knowledge for a couple more years before he completely calls it a day.
In a way, he started and then, like, his rise to fame and the end of his illustrious career are all going to be on Turner Broadcast Network. That to me is a whole other Turner Broadcast Station.
That's his career coming full circle.
Isn't that?
Ended any other way.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he got his WWE run in there, and he got his TNA run. Your favorite.
He couldn't have. His career couldn't have gone any better. I mean, some would argue maybe that he should have had more wins in WWE, but you know what? To tell you the truth, I don't see how, like, even the wins take away from. I mean, how the wins would have added to his legacy.
Right. No.
Because in WWE, because at that point Sting was already like an established legend.
We
already knew what Vince McMahon was going to do. Like, I mean, it's not like we wanted Sting to win.
Yeah.
But it's not like we already walked into the matches knowing that the odds of him winning were against him. So we already knew that if he lost, that we weren't going to lose the respect for him because we knew it was backstage politics.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it would have been nice for Sting to get just one win in WWE.
There's not a thing. That's a petty thing, I think, by Vince. Like
by Vince. Yeah. Not sad to see you go.
Triple H, Sting at Mania. It had to be Sting, man. Why did they give that? Why would Tripp have to go? Like, Tripp, what do you have to gain from that win? Nothing. You didn't move up or down after that. Like, because you're the fucking C.
Like, no, that's the one he definitely needed to lose. I mean, no, sorry. Yeah, Tripp's needed to lose.
Yeah.
Because even before the injury or whatever, I mean, I understand. If you want to lose to Seth, that's fine. Put Seth over. He could, at the time when his heat was at an all-time high, he could definitely have used that rub even more. But Triple H, you're an established legend already.
That was a gimmick match
and
anyway.
The fact of the matter is, you work for the family that runs the company. You're guaranteed a spot no matter what. Why not be the bigger man and just give the guy his win, his one WWE win, so he could walk away and say, I did something cool in WWE.
I honestly don't think that was a Triple H call. That was a Vince call.
But I think that it's something that Triple H could have stood his ground on, because it was coming towards the end of his career anyway.
Yeah.
So what if you get fired by Vince?
He wouldn't have gotten fired.
And more so the reason why he should have took a stand.
Yeah.
But
anyway, Mania is Anyway, so it is that there's only 2 matches we never got to see out of Sting, just because of companies being different. Taker match we never got to see. And it'll always just be in What If in both of their careers. And then one that many don't talk about, and mostly because this other half he destroyed his own career.
I know where you're going with this.
The Warrior.
Exit stage left, exit stage right, load up the rocket fuel, load up the Warriors.
There you go. That's probably why. That might be why. That might be why they didn't do it. But those guys started out together as the tag team. What were they called? I remember.
Blade Runners.
The Blade Runners. That's a great name for tag team. That's the thing. They had great names for Warriors. Anything Warrior did, his branding was. We have to give.
Yeah, but his personal name sucked. It was the Dingo Warrior.
But no, that was dumb. But Ultimate Warrior was cool. I thought that was a great name. Sting being Sting, like Sting and Ultimate Warrior, they just needed a one-off. Even in WCW, he went to WCW. Ultimate Warrior.
But let's not even talk about the WCW run. The WCW run was set up for him to fail.
I know.
And
it was just, again, he was getting the rub from Hogan.
He was there for the bag. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And he was there for Hogan to get up his come up, and that's it. They didn't care what they did with the Warrior there. And honestly, I don't think the Warrior cared what he did there either, because he got his money and ran. And we also have him and his trapdoor to thank for shortening of the British Bulldog's career.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that, Warrior. No, I'm just kidding. Rest in peace, Warrior. But still, that was really messed up what happened to British Bulldog as a result of the trapdoor they were supposed to use for the Warrior.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Any last thoughts on this week and heading into... So at the time of this recording, this is the 22nd of October. We are heading into Monday Night Raw tomorrow, so we shall see what this week of wrestling brings us. Any final thoughts, like Jerry Springer, on on this week of wrestling news with everything we discussed?
My final thoughts: TNA, get yourself some talent to represent your company well. That way, the T in TNA could actually stand for talent instead of what Vince Russo meant for it to stand for. So, with that being said, thank you, Vince Russo. Thank you, Slapnuts Jeff Jarrett, for presenting us with a company with ups and downs. And thank you, Scott D'Amore, for bringing it back and making me feel oh so happy about wrestling again. Without that part of it, we're looking forward to a good week of wonderful and exciting wrestling. Some potentially exciting possibilities, and I'm all for it.
And whose game is it?
LA Knight, yeah?
Rockets, break your back. You're the